My name is Allie Danziger. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at Ascent Funding. We are an innovative private student lender that is focused on helping students way beyond just how to finance their education. We help students plan, pay, and succeed in and after college. And so today, what we'll be talking about is how to really make sure that you are taking the right steps in college and after college to be on the right path for your career. I know that it might feel like, why are we talking about this in January? But what a great time to really think about what your long-term career path is and how you can be setting yourself up for the right success. At Ascent, I have the honor of leading both the marketing department as well as all of the wraparound support services that we provide to all of our borrowers to ensure that they have the proper training and support needed to succeed in their education. And again, why does this even matter now? Frankly, I've been in this industry for the past 20 years, constantly hiring entry-level employees and over 500 interns. The landscape of college to career transition has fundamentally changed, and it's not going back. Employers now expect way more than just a degree. We are looking for evidence of applied skills, professional judgment, and real world problem solving ability. And so today we're going to be talking about what that means and why it matters. Today, there's 2 times more applications per posting. So that means the competition is higher than it's ever been. Students who graduate, 43% are likely to take a job that does not require a college degree. And there's only 2 real recruiting seasons for internships. While it is possible to get an internship or a job offer at any time when you're graduating college or in school, the key times are September through November and now through March, where people will be hiring for summer internships. So that's why we really want to talk about this now and not wait till spring break to start thinking about those summer internships. You want to have proven signals of applied work as you go into those applications and as you start your career. And so again, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And please feel free to ask any questions or let us know if there's anything that we can specifically address to make sure that this is applicable to you. Again, to know who we have, I really want to know who we have in the audience. And that is by helping me understand, are you a parent of a high school student, parent of a college student, parent of a recent grad, or are you a high school student, college student, recent college grad, or none of the above, in which case we'll make sure that this is applicable. And if you have had an internship before, please let us know so that we can again, apply this information the right way. I'll keep this live for just a few more seconds. Great. So it looks like we have a healthy mix of parents and students here. And so I'll just make sure that the content is relevant for all. Thank you for sharing that. So again, what we'll talk about today is why internships matter, how to actually share what you're doing in your internship or leading up to your internship, how to make sure that that experience helps you land an actual job offer, planning for your career, and then ensuring success post-graduation. So to start, why do internships even matter? And I'll tell you, again, I've hired a ton of interns. I built a software company that helped over 7,000 students get the durable skills that they needed in order to thrive in internships and get those internships. And at Ascent Funding today, we help students with this specifically because we know that how important internships are to driving full-time offers. The conversion rate is so astronomically important that we are investing significant time and encourage all students to invest significant time into internships because not only does it give you industry experience, and frankly, sometimes it helps you understand which industries you don't want to be a part of. When I was in college, I had 5 different internships throughout my 4 years of undergrad. And in that time, two of my internships I absolutely hated, but that helped set me up for success when I went to go apply for jobs because I could be much more targeted in my job search, knowing that for me, I couldn't go work in a nonprofit. I also couldn't, I liked an agency environment. So I started my career in a PR agency because I like doing multiple things at the same time, working with multiple different clients and shifting my brain a lot of different times in a day. That doesn't work for everyone, but because I had had two of those types of internships and knew that that was what was best for me at that stage of my career, I was very targeted in my job search. And was able to speak to why I was a good candidate for those jobs because I had a broad array of experience. And that is what I'm often encouraging students to to have not just internships in one particular field or in one particular type of job because the vast experience is so helpful. Second to that is problem solving experience. So we have opportunities to problem solve daily, and doing that in a professional workplace capacity shows that you are able to solve problems and gives you experience of the types of problems that come up in a normal workday and how you then work through those. Because we all have to work through problems. It comes up 9,000 times a day in the workforce. And so showing that you have that experience, that you have that capacity, even if it's something that you might not have like actually be doing in your future job, but just that you have had problems and you've solved them, or even are aware of those problems and how those problems are solved, shows so much professional value. And third is communication skills. We've worked with NACE, the National Association of Colleges and Employers, as well as America Succeeds. And that is the number one thing that comes up from millions of employers that are interviewed is that students are lacking communication skills that can be applied into the workforce. And so by having internship experience, not only are you stacking your resume there, but you are showing that you have had experience communicating in a professional setting. Again, whether it's your industry or not, that you know how to show up, how to communicate, how to ask questions. We also do a lot of training on the back end in Ascent to ensure that students have the professional experience and the communication skills that they need to walk into that internship and know how to ask questions appropriately, how to send emails appropriately. ChatGPT and AI can only get you so far, and most employers know when you are directly copy and pasting from an AI platform. While super helpful to help get you started, it is the additional polish that and personalization that you're able to add in an email, but it's also knowing when to send the email, how to structure it, what questions to ask, what prompts to use in AI that really can set you apart. And you can really only learn that by getting real world experience. See, we just got a question. Will this be sent as a recording? It absolutely will. So feel free if you need to hop off early to do so. So your one-page career plan. I know that we've got some high school students on here. We have some parents on here that may or may not be thinking about their career. But what happens is sometimes you graduate from college, you haven't even thought about where you're at, or and you're lost. Or second to that is you don't even know where to get started. And so you push this off because it's such a daunting task. What you really need is a clear North Star and a systematic approach to closing the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and then coming back to this framework on a regular basis to stay focused on high leverage activities that employers will actually value in the future. So thinking about this as a 18-month target, knowing where do I want to be, where do I want to go, and then what are the gaps between that, and thinking about job postings for those types of roles, looking at what are the skills that are required in those roles and what do I need to learn or what experiences do I need to get there. Write that down. Write down what that goal role is, map the gaps that you have, and then on a weekly basis, just start setting goals for yourself of I want to learn these skills, or I need this type of experience, or I need to have these types of difficult conversations with colleagues in group projects. I need to interview 15 people that have these types of jobs so that I can define what that North Star is. And then 30 minutes a week, mapping towards that can be incredibly valuable. And then lead up to 2 to 3 hours per week, if you're closer. But if you're in high school, if you're at an earlier part of your career path, then just a little bit of time and getting in those habits so that it just becomes part of your norm is really best practice. And then keep track of your successes. I personally, in my email, I have a happy folder that is basically truly named like colon and parentheses. So it's the first folder in my inbox, and anything that I want to track and make sure that feels good and also is tracking towards a goal, I put into that smiley face folder. It's such a great way, A, when you're feeling defeated, B, when you feel like you have imposter syndrome towards something, or C, if you just want to track where you're actually at so that you can easily come back to those artifacts later. That is a great tip of what you need to do. Now, I know time is tight. We are all busy. Students are even busier. And so it can be really difficult to figure out when can I even get an internship? Even if someone would hire me, where would I find the time to do that? But keeping in mind that semester or year-long internships are not the only path towards gaining experience. There's micro internships, which might be like a 30-ish hour project that you have the opportunity to do. All Ascent funding borrowers do get access to a program called the Ascent Up Bridge program. That is a paid program for 30 hours in a 6-week period to deliver concrete, real project to employers. So truly we'll see students doing things like UX design or competitive analysis or process documentation for real employers that need this real help. And there's no experience needed whatsoever. There's a lot of programs like that are done completely remotely, completely asynchronously, and allow students to get the experience they need. Because oftentimes employers are requiring experience to give experience, which just makes it impossible for early career professionals to get that. Get off that soapbox. Virtual job simulations is also a great introductory opportunity to get experience and just an understanding of what various work fields are like. There's an organization called Forage, Forage, that allows self-paced online programs. So you could do it 2 to 6 hours. I think there's some that go up to 20 hours, but with big Fortune 100 companies that you get to independently see what it's like just working for those types of organizations. A lot of universities, excuse me, as well as high schools have project-based work that is true work-based learning as part of the curriculum. And that is taking a class assignment, working with employers in the field and having project work or like real work that you would do as part of your class assignments. In my experience, when I was in college, we would do press releases and marketing plans, but research papers, again, like UX, or research projects overall can be really successful work-based learning assignments within the classroom. So make sure that you're asking your professors about that, your counselors about that, and seeing what kind of opportunities your school provides, because you can get class credit for those types of opportunities. And then, like, there's so much out there, right? So, depending on what type of industry you're looking to go into, there's hackathons, there's volunteer projects, and there's various opportunities to just raise your hand and say, I see a problem. Here's something that here's offer that I can provide. Some of those may or may not be paid opportunities, but still ways to just in your free time do something that gives you the experience that you really need, and then be able to take that experience and leverage it to go get your next opportunity. Which How do you do that? Okay. So, converting an internship or a project into a full-time offer or a project into an internship, same thing, is more than just having good performance. It's really knowing how to set yourself up and pitch yourself or sell yourself, and explain what it is that you've just done, and make sure that others see that value. Don't just rely on the manager that you interact with on a daily basis. Think about peers, think about recruiters, think about other managers within the organization that have witnessed the work that you've done and how you can have a conversation with them. So, first is make sure that you clearly identify to the person you're speaking with a clear business challenge or opportunity that you helped to address. And this is if they know the organization or just when you're talking about work that you've done in an interview. Then you want to explain your methodology, the tools and decision making that you went through to arrive at that answer. Don't be afraid to say that you used AI tools to help brainstorm with you or be a thought partner. They want to see your innovative ways of thinking. Then present the tangible artifact or what the product that you created. And then this is key. So, this is where a lot of times people forget. Explain the impact, explain how your work impacted the organization. And if you don't know how the work that you're doing impacts the organization at a whole, make sure that you are asking your manager what the impact is. And anything as small as like erasing a whiteboard or taking notes in a meeting or doing QA on a website all has big impact and big implications into the organization. It might just be multiple steps removed from how we drive revenue, how we meet our annual KPIs. But understanding that is key to both your success in that project as well as how you then translate that into your next job. And then, you got to go for the kill. You have to ask how you can use those types of skills and that type of impact as a full-time employee or as an intern, and making sure that you ask, how can I contribute work like this to your organization, to your department in the next quarter? What are problems that you're trying to solve? And then use the work that you've just showcased as a way that you can help them solve their problem. And it's not just people that you know, but making sure that you have strategic networking as well, external to the immediate people that you're talking to on LinkedIn is key. So it's not just about as many people as you know, but making sure, and as many people as you're connected to on LinkedIn, but making sure that your visual identity, your online brand, properly showcases the work that you've been doing and the work that you're capable of doing in the future. So here's an example of like how your LinkedIn headline could look, to make sure that it is super clear what types of roles you are capable of. And then everything that I just showed on the previous slide, make sure that your LinkedIn profile has those artifacts as well. All the things that you put in that smiley face folder, make sure that you are including examples of that in your LinkedIn profiles, showing yourself as someone who cares about the industry or knows about the industry, sharing articles, as well as thoughtful experience that you have. We recommend often posting once a week so that you are not killing yourself posting too often, but then having the opportunity to engage authentically in the things that you can speak to. And AI can be a great place to help be a thought partner of what are the types of things you can be posting about. But I highly, highly recommend not to just use ChatGPT to create all of your social media posts, because you want it to be personal to you, the digital presence that you want to provide, and the portfolio that you're trying to share. So then first 90 days post-graduation, you'll want to create a stakeholder map. So really like who are the people that you have spoken to, that you can speak to, and then what are the wins that you can identify. Deliver early artifacts. So making sure that you're documenting your work, you're sharing clear deliverables and asking for feedback, and then establishing your system. So working with your manager to define clear KPIs, build feedback loops, and make sure that you're talking about what's the next project you can be working on. You're constantly in this loop of um, projects, finishing those projects, communicating the impact, understanding the impact and communicating the impact, and then moving on to what the next project will be. And then finally, you'll be in this cadence and system where you're working on multiple projects at a time. So I know that this was a lot of information tucked into a very, very short amount of time, but I just want to make sure that you are walking away from here understanding that you can start small. Doing a little bit every day or every week can really be monumental in how you can change your trajectory for your career just by doing something and getting yourself some experience, building momentum and making that visible so that you are doing meaningful work and sharing it thoughtfully, both with your network, with your manager, and on your social media platforms, and being really clear about what that career plan is and where the gaps are so that you can build momentum towards that and stay focused on your long-term career goals. Um, I love this. Employers hire capability, not credentials. So make sure that you are building relationships, that you are actually, working with your managers and with your coaches, with your counselors and professors to make sure that the skills that you're building are going towards something and that you are building career readiness so that you can be set up for success. I'd love to use this as an opportunity to answer any questions that anyone has. And we have a QR code here with additional resources that hopefully will be helpful for you as you embark on your career journey. Any questions or any tips that you might need as you are starting to interview for internship opportunities? I'll give us just one more minute and feel free to drop anything into the Q&A or the chat. All right. Well, with that, this has been recorded. It's been a pleasure speaking with you all this evening. We will send out the recording probably tomorrow or early next week. I wish you all a great 2026, and I'm confident that just by investing this time tonight, you are on the right track towards building a very successful career and taking the right steps while in school or after school to launch a meaningful career. Thank you and have a great evening.